The idea of parallel realities suggests that instead of just one version of ourselves existing, we can coexist in multiple universes simultaneously. Each version of our consciousness would be living different trajectories, shaped by choices, thoughts, and circumstances that vary in each dimension. This implies that our lives, which appear linear, can be part of a wider network of experiences. These parallel realities are like ramifications that arise with every decision we make, and each of them explores an alternative path that we did not choose in our current universe. This concept challenges our traditional perception of time and space. In parallel realities, time is not linear, and the cause and effect may be different from what we understand in our three-dimensional world. This phenomenon resonates with principles of quantum physics, where the possibility of several occurrences coexisting is suggested by the superposition of states. There is also an interesting implication in the sense of personal responsibility. If each version of ourselves is living different experiences, it means we have the potential to explore an infinite range of possibilities. The concept of parallel realities suggests that we are much more than the results of our immediate choices, and that true power lies in how we deal with the infinite possibilities that surround us. Exploring these parallel realities may not be consciously accessible to most, but there are moments in our lives that give us clues to their existence. These small glimpses make us question the linearity of our everyday lives and the nature of the universe in which we live. Interest in parallel realities also encourages reflection on our role in the universe. Are we limited to a single life, or are we fragments of something larger and more expansive? And most importantly, if there are multiple versions of ourselves, how can we use this knowledge to enhance our experience here and now? Connecting with these realities can help us see beyond limitations and offer us a new sense of purpose and possibility. Welcome to the Eye of the Soul channel. Quantum physics, a field that explores the behavior of the smallest particles in the universe, has opened new paths of understanding about reality. One of the fundamental principles of this field is the idea that matter exists in states of possibility, not certainty, until it is observed. This suggests that the universe, in essence, is made up of infinite possibilities, where each particle can be in more than one place at the same time, in a state known as superposition. Thus, each decision or event can trigger different realities. Within quantum physics, the concept of the multiverse or parallel realities is a serious proposal. This theoretical model suggests that instead of there being a single universe, there are multiple universes coexisting at the same time, each with its own laws and conditions. In these parallel universes, different versions of us may be living different experiences, making decisions that vary from those we choose in our reality. Each choice, no matter how small, opens up a new branch of possibility in the multiverse. This concept is related to what is known as the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. According to this theory, every time a decision is made, the universe is divided into two or more versions, each corresponding to a different choice. For example, in one universe, you may have decided to pursue a specific career path, while in another, you took a completely different direction. Both versions of you exist simultaneously, but in parallel realities, without directly interfering with each other. Although this notion seems purely theoretical, some quantum experiments provide evidence that reality is much more complex than it appears. The famous double-slit experiment demonstrated that particles of light can behave differently depending on whether they're observed or not, suggesting that consciousness and observation play a fundamental role in shaping reality. This puts the idea of parallel realities on a more accessible level, as it implies that our individual perception can influence which version of reality we are experiencing. This idea can be practically applied to our understanding of life and choices. If all possible realities already exist somewhere in the multiverse, we can, through intention and the focus of consciousness, align ourselves with the reality we wish to experience. Instead of thinking that we are limited to a single life path, quantum physics suggests that we are multidimensional beings, capable of moving between various possibilities of existence. Every choice we make would be an act of collapsing one of many probabilities into a single experience. The role of consciousness in quantum physics is fundamental to understanding how parallel realities can work. The idea that our perception directly influences the universe around us opens doors to philosophical and spiritual speculations. If our mind is able to choose a reality from several possible options, this implies that we have the power to create our life experiences in a much more active way than we generally believe. This perspective can revolutionize the way we view our lives and our decisions. If each choice creates a new reality, this gives us great responsibility for our own destinies. Quantum physics suggests that we are not victims of a predetermined universe, but rather co-creators of our own experience, where every thought and action shapes the path we follow. Connecting with parallel versions of yourself can be a powerful path to spiritual growth and self-knowledge. The idea that different versions of our consciousness exist in alternative realities suggests that we can access wisdom and experiences from these other versions to enrich our personal journey. This allows us to expand our perception of life and open new paths of understanding about who we are and what we can achieve. Practicing spiritual connection with these parallel realities requires a deep level of self-awareness. When we meditate or engage in internal reflection practices, we begin to explore dimensions of ourselves that transcend the present moment and space. These practices help us get in touch with aspects of our soul that may be experiencing parallel lives, allowing valuable insights to surface. These insights, when integrated into our current consciousness, can transform our worldview and lead us to choices more aligned with our true purpose. This process also shows us that self-knowledge is a continuous path. Instead of being just the sum of our current experiences, we understand that we are multidimensional beings with an infinite number of potential experiences. The lessons we can learn from these other versions of ourselves broaden our perspective on what it means to be human, beyond the limitations of our everyday lives. This can help us better deal with challenges and find creative and innovative solutions to problems we face in our current reality. The connection with these parallel versions is also deeply linked to the notion of synchronicity and intuition. As we become more in tune with these other realities, we begin to notice more synchronicities, seemingly random events that have deep meaning for us. These occurrences can be subtle forms of communication from other versions of our consciousness, bringing guidance about decisions and paths we should take. Following these signs with confidence can guide us towards a more harmonious life aligned with our true essence. Developing this connection with parallel realities is an exercise in expanding consciousness, which leads us to question the linearity of time and the traditional concept of self. We can realize that our self is not fixed, but a constantly evolving process, shaped by experiences that go beyond our immediate understanding. This gives us the opportunity to take a more holistic view of ourselves and our journey, recognizing that the answers we seek often already exist elsewhere, within us, in another reality. Signs of communication between parallel realities can emerge in several impactful ways. These signs are experiences that transcend common logic and make us feel connected to something greater. Feelings of déjà vu, synchronicities, vivid dreams, intuition, and unexplained changes in behavior are indications that other versions of our consciousness, living in parallel realities, are trying to communicate with us. These signs, when noticed and understood, offer a window into realities that go beyond our common understanding. They show us that life is complex and that what we experience in our current reality is just a part of who we are. By paying attention to these communications, we have the chance to integrate aspects of other versions of ourselves, enriching our life experience and bringing a greater sense of connection with the universe. Déjà vu is a common but mysterious feeling that an experience we are having has happened before. It's as if the memory of an event is activated as it is occurring, creating a disconcerting feeling of familiarity. In the context of parallel realities, déjà vu can be understood as a momentary overlap between two versions of ourselves. It is as if, for a brief moment, we were accessing the experience of an alternative reality in which that situation has already happened. The idea that déjà vu is a crossroads of parallel realities opens up the possibility that we are constantly interacting with other dimensions, even if unconsciously. Perhaps, in another reality, we made different decisions that led us to experience that same situation before. Déjà vu gives us a clue that our multidimensional being is always in contact with these other realities, and that our current experiences may be connected to alternative versions of ourselves. Synchronicities, on the other hand, are meaningful coincidences that seem to carry a purpose or message. Unlike déjà vu, which is a feeling of familiarity, synchronicity appears as an event that seems to be connected to something we are experiencing at the moment, even without a cause and effect relationship. It could be an unexpected encounter with someone who shares exactly what we needed to hear, or a repeated number that appears at key moments, making us reflect. These events are not random. They have meaning and can be seen as a form of communication between different realities. Synchronicity can also be a manifestation of our connection to other versions of ourselves. In parallel realities, we may have made choices or followed paths that directly impact our current experience. Synchronicities can be ways for our consciousness aligned between realities to give us guidance. When we notice these significant coincidences and begin to reflect on what they might mean, we are, in a sense, tuning in to other dimensions of our own existence. One of the keys to understanding déjà vu and synchronicities lies in our ability to perceive. The more open and aware we are to the multidimensional nature of reality, the more easily we perceive these phenomena and recognize them as signs. Instead of dismissing déjà vu as a brain anomaly or seeing synchronicities as simple coincidences, we can begin to interpret them as messages from parallel realities, trying to guide us or offer us a new perspective. Both déjà vu and synchronicities challenge us to expand our understanding of time, causality, and reality. They suggest that the choices we make in one reality can influence others, and that we can in some way access these other versions of ourselves. These phenomena also invite us to reflect on the role of our consciousness in creating reality. If we can experience moments of overlap between realities, this could mean that we are much more connected to the universe than we imagine. To further explore the meaning of déjà vu and synchronicities, it is helpful to adopt practices that help us become more aware of these signs. Keeping a diary, for example, can help us identify patterns and connections between seemingly unconnected events. Dreams are one of the most direct forms of communication between our consciousness and parallel realities. During sleep, the mind is freed from the limitations of the physical world and can explore other dimensions of existence. Vivid dreams, especially those that seem extremely real, can be experiences of contact with other versions of ourselves living in parallel realities. These dreams allow us to experience alternative scenarios where we make different choices or are in completely different contexts from our daily lives. When we have lucid dreams, moments when we are aware that we are dreaming, we can even take control over our actions within the dream and explore these realities more actively. This type of dream gives us the opportunity to interact with different angles of our consciousness, directly accessing versions of ourselves that inhabit these other realities. Lucid dreams can be a gateway to expanding our perception and self-knowledge, offering valuable insights into issues we are facing in our waking lives. Intuition, in turn, is another powerful way to access these realities. Intuition works as an internal knowledge that seems to come out of nowhere, but which brings an inexplicable certainty. Often, this feeling can be a message from another version of ourselves, trying to guide us towards choices and paths. Intuition transcends logic and rational analysis. It operates on a deep level of wisdom and connection with the universe. When we trust our intuition, we are allowing these other realities to positively influence our decisions. Just like dreams, intuition can be refined and developed with practice. The more we trust and follow our intuition, the stronger it becomes, and the more connected we feel to these parallel realities. Intuition can also appear as a gut feeling about a person, situation, or decision. This intuitive connection may be the result of experiences that our consciousness has had in another reality, guiding us to avoid mistakes or take advantage of opportunities that we have not yet consciously noticed. In addition to their function of communicating with other realities, both dreams and intuition serve as guides for our process of personal growth. They show us that there are deeper layers of experience that go beyond what we capture through the five senses. Our dreams, often symbolic, reveal aspects of our psyche and help us process emotions, traumas, or unresolved issues. Intuition helps us make decisions that are more aligned with our true selves, often defying logical and conventional reasoning. By paying attention to both dreams and intuition, we begin to notice patterns and signs that can direct us towards paths that are more harmonious and connected to our purpose. These phenomena function as internal maps, helping us move through life with more clarity and confidence. The key to interpreting these messages is open-mindedness and a willingness to explore what is beyond our immediate understanding. To intensify our connection with these forms of communication, it is important to practice self-reflection. Keeping a dream journal, for example, helps us identify recurring themes and possible messages from these other realities. By writing down our hunches and intuition-based decisions, we can see how these insights influence our lives over time, strengthening our trust in our inner wisdom. The feeling of displacement or being out of place can be a sign that we are in tune with another version of ourselves in a parallel reality. This feeling, which often comes on suddenly, can manifest itself as a strange realization that we don't belong in the environment we are in, or that something in our everyday life seems out of alignment. This disconnection may be a reflection of a state of transition between different realities, where our consciousness is oscillating between alternative dimensions. This phenomenon can happen in moments of great change or personal growth, when we move away from old versions of ourselves and begin to align ourselves with new possibilities. Sometimes this feeling of dislocation can be accompanied by doubts about our choices, career, or relationships, as if we are living a life that does not completely belong to us. This could be an indication that we are energetically connected to a parallel version of ourselves that is walking a different path. And for some reason, this connection is becoming noticeable in our current reality. The feeling of displacement can also arise when we are on the threshold of a major transformation. At certain times, we can feel disconnected from our usual routine, as if we are waiting for something new, even if we don't know what it is yet. This may be a reflection that we are about to transition into a higher version of ourselves, one in which our values, goals, and perspectives align more deeply with our true purpose. Displacement can sometimes occur when we make decisions that take us away from our authentic path. In these situations, the feeling of being out of place can act as a warning that we are moving away from the version of ourselves that is most in harmony with our highest purpose. This alternative version may be living a life more connected to our inner values, and the feeling of disconnection appears as a sign that we need to reconsider our choices and realign our trajectory. This displacement, although uncomfortable, can also be seen as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. Feeling out of place forces us to question our beliefs and decisions, leading us to explore new paths we may have never considered. It's as if our consciousness is guiding us to explore other realities, allowing us to have a broader view of the possibilities that exist for us. By following this impulse, we can discover new talents, interests, and paths that align more deeply with who we truly are. Exploring this sense of dislocation requires a dose of introspection. Instead of ignoring or repressing this feeling, we can benefit from questioning it. Asking ourselves why we feel out of place and what that might be telling us is the first step to understanding what needs to be adjusted in our lives. The feeling of displacement may be transient, but it offers an important message that we are in the process of change and transformation. If we can accept and integrate this experience, we can use it as a catalyst for living a more authentic life aligned with our true selves. Vibrational elevation is essential to aligning with higher versions of yourself in other realities. Everything in the universe vibrates at different frequencies, including our thoughts, emotions, and actions. The higher the vibration, the more connected we are to higher states of consciousness, where love, compassion, peace, and purpose dominate. Raising our vibration allows us to not only improve our current life, but also connect with parallel realities where these qualities are more intensely manifested. Raising our vibration starts with changing our thoughts and emotions. Feelings like fear, anger, and resentment vibrate at lower frequencies and keep us trapped in limiting behavior patterns. To align with higher versions of ourselves, it is necessary to cultivate emotions such as gratitude, joy, compassion, and acceptance. These emotions increase our vibrational frequency and allow us to access higher states of consciousness, bringing us closer to parallel realities where these qualities are fully experienced. The practice of meditation. It is one of the most effective ways to raise our vibration. Meditating regularly helps us calm the mind, tuning us into energies that are not present in our usual waking state. During meditation, we can visualize the version of ourselves we wish to embody, connecting with that reality through intention and focus. This creates an energetic bridge between our current life and a higher version, making it easier to integrate these energies into our daily experience. In addition to meditation, mindful eating also plays an important role in vibrational elevation. What we consume directly affects our energy. Fresh, natural, and nutritious foods have a higher vibrational frequency, while processed, industrialized, or low-vitality foods have lower frequencies. By choosing foods that nourish our body and mind, we raise our vibration and become more receptive to positive influences from other parallel realities. The environment we live in also influences our vibration. Surrounding yourself with positivity, whether through people, places, or objects, is crucial to maintaining a high vibrational frequency. Practices such as energetic cleaning of spaces, the use of crystals, and contact with nature help to elevate the energy around us, creating an environment that favors spiritual growth and connection with higher versions of ourselves. All of this contributes to a mental and emotional state that is in tune with higher frequencies. Another important aspect in vibrational elevation is self-awareness. Being aware of our thoughts, words, and actions allows us to make choices that are more aligned with our essence. When we act inconsistently with our values, or when we harbor negative thoughts, our vibration decreases. By practicing self-control and self-reflection, we can adjust our behavior to reflect the highest version of ourselves, increasing our vibration and consequently our well-being. Gratitude is a simple yet powerful way to raise your vibration. The daily practice of being grateful for the small and big things in our lives helps us shift our focus from deficiencies to abundance. Gratitude activates positive emotions, increasing our vibrational frequency and bringing us closer to parallel realities where prosperity and joy are abundant. This practice connects us with higher energies and transforms our perception of reality. Maintaining a high vibration and connecting with higher versions of yourself in other realities requires consistent and intentional practices. Guided meditations that involve visualizing higher versions of ourselves can be especially powerful. They help to focus intention and open communication portals with these parallel realities, where we are wiser, more balanced and fulfilled. Nature is a natural channel to raise our vibration and connect us with the whole. Spending time outdoors, walking barefoot on the grass, or just breathing fresh air are ways to align ourselves with the earth, which is a source of high vibrational energy. Nature reconnects us to our essential being, facilitating access to these other realities where our purest and highest essence is already manifested. Being in contact with nature makes us feel more rooted, present, and in harmony with the universe. Generosity also puts us in a state of energetic flow, where we give and receive in a balanced way. This practice aligns us with a version of ourselves more connected with abundance and unconditional love, allowing this energy to flow freely in our lives. Creative visualization is another potent way to connect with these higher realities. During meditation or moments of silence, visualizing a version of ourselves living the life of our dreams with greater wisdom and balance helps to create a channel of communication with that reality. The more detailed this visualization is, the easier it will be to bring these qualities into the present. The practice of visualizing yourself acting and feeling like the highest version of yourself makes it easier to manifest this reality in your current life. Connection practices require commitment and discipline, but over time, they bring significant results. Each practice that raises our vibration and expands our consciousness brings us closer to the highest versions of ourselves in other realities. Once we notice the signs and messages from parallel realities, the next step is to integrate them into our daily lives. To make the most of these messages, it is essential to embrace them consciously, interpreting what they reveal about our journey and taking concrete actions to align our lives with these insights. The first step towards integration is interpreting the signals. When déjà vu or synchronicity occurs, it is important to reflect on the context and emotions associated with these moments. Asking yourself what this experience might be communicating is key. Perhaps it is an alert, a direction towards a new opportunity, or even a sign that you already have the necessary knowledge to deal with a situation. Taking the time to reflect on these signs helps clarify their meaning and how they can be applied practically. Another important aspect of onboarding is acting on the insights you receive. If, for example, a dream reveals a version of yourself living a life more aligned with your desires, it may be time to adopt habits and attitudes that bring that version closer to your current reality. This may involve adjustments to your lifestyle, your relationships, or even your career. The important thing is not to let these messages remain only on the mental plane, but rather to bring them into the field of action, implementing small changes that reflect the insights received. Integration also involves developing greater sensitivity to messages that emerge over time. Keeping a dream journal, recording synchronicities and insights, and reflecting on your emotions can help identify recurring patterns and themes. These patterns often reveal lessons that need to be learned or paths that need to be explored. The more attentive you are to these signs, the more easily you will be able to recognize the messages being sent by other versions of yourself in parallel realities. It is also essential to cultivate an open and flexible mindset when interpreting these messages. The signs are not always clear or easy to understand immediately. Sometimes the answers come clearly or through different channels over time. Patience and trust in the process are essential to allow messages to reveal themselves at the right time. As you integrate these messages into your life, you will notice that your reality begins to align more harmoniously with your desires and purpose. Small changes in behavior, attitude, and everyday choices begin to have a larger, more positive impact, bringing a sense of alignment and clarity. This reflects the power of being in touch with higher versions of yourself and using their knowledge to guide your life in a more conscious way. The integration of these messages is not a one-time process, but an ongoing one. Over time, as you become more skilled at perceiving, interpreting, and acting on these signs, your life will begin to reflect a deeper connection with your multidimensional essence. By recognizing that other versions of ourselves are living different experiences, we open our minds to the potential to learn from them. If we could access these other selves, perhaps we could avoid mistakes, make better decisions, or simply feel more complete. Understanding the concept of parallel realities also puts our notion of destiny into perspective. Perhaps destiny is not something fixed, but rather a spectrum of possibilities that adjusts according to the choices we make. If this is the case, it means that we always have the opportunity to change the direction of our lives by tuning in to a higher version of ourselves.